Welcome to the Excel video presentation on problem number 16 from page 50. So I've already loaded the utility charges. I'm going to create a column called bins. And the bins are going to start at 99, 119, which is one way to enter them. Or because they go up in increments of 20, you can go equals, select, in this case, cell C3, add 20. And by the way, your bin should always be the same size, and you get 139. So rather than having to type all the numbers, and we have the ability, and I need one more, because it goes to 219. So it's a much faster way to do things, much more productive way. I'm going to type in frequency. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to show you a second video how to do this slightly differently using the data analysis tool pack within Excel. But there is a frequency function within Excel. There's a couple of ways to select it. You can go types or equals frequency, but I prefer to use the frequency or the function button, here. Because I happen to use frequency recently, it's at the top of my list. But if I wanted to put in a brief description of here, the frequency is a way to select it. Then you go OK. You get an input palette. And for the data array, that's your raw numbers. And then you have the bins array. One of the things I need to do, though, before I do that, is I need to sort. So I go to column A. I make sure that I'm under the home button or tab. I go to sort and filter, and I want to go from smallest to largest. So now my array is sorted. All right. You can do that right off the start, but you need to sort it before you do the frequency. So I'm going to go back to frequency. I'm going to select that. Now I have my input. Now, one of the things you can do is you can select the first number in the data array. One little trick you can do is you can go Control Shift down arrow. And what that will do in this case is select all of the data and stop at row number 51. Remember, the first line was a heading or a label. Now, so that's a little Excel trick that you can use for selecting like a long series number rather than having to scroll down. Right, you go OK. Well, not OK yet. We need to select the bins array. So you can go Control Home. You can go up to the top and select the bins array. And that will have the various categories. Now you go OK. Get rid of that last one. Oh, for some reason it adds one extra one. So you can either edit it or just ignore it, which is what I'm going to do. So you're given the frequency. And I'm sure you can appreciate that if you had, this is 50. What if you had 5,000? What if you had 50,000? And you're trying to create a frequency distribution. So that's how to use Excel for the determining the frequency rather than having to do it manually. I'm going to modify this so it only goes to cell number 7. Then the total is, again, equals. And some of you have used the auto sum function. of this. $50. So for the percentage column, we want to turn this obviously into a percentage. So you go equals, you take the value, in this case D2, or column D, row 2, you divide it by the total. But I want to be able to copy this down and have 7 divided by D10, then 9 divided by D10. So what I do as a shortcut is I put in, what I just did there was I went F4. So what that does is put the dollar signs for the column and the row. What the dollar sign represents is an absolute reference. So even when I copy the formula, it will not change. It will still always be D10. Now I want D2 to become D3 to become D4. So you'll see that in a moment. So it goes equals, I'll turn it into percentage in a moment. You can copy the formula down and then select percentage. And there you are. And while I'm at it, I'm going to also do the cumulative percentage. So in this particular case, it's simply the column before. But as you go down, you take the previous percentage, you add, in this case, E3, and you get the 22%. And you copy it down. And you get your 100%. I'm going to show you another video on this using the data analysis tool pack that you should have turned on. And your lab instructor or myself can show you how to do that, and I'm sure we'll go over that in class. But this shows you how to get a frequency the distribution without having to manually count. You can change the bins and rerun things. You can find the percentages quite easily, and then you can have the cumulative percentage. So I hope you found that informative.